Hi class, this is the video that will guide you through your final paper. Now, if you go into your content section of Blackboard, everything that you need has already been posted on Blackboard, but let me pull it all together for you. Go ahead and click on your content section of Blackboard. I want you to scroll down. You'll go down to the very bottom. Okay. Right above chapter 11, it says how to write a research paper. Now, you've done thought papers this semester, which are completely different, and you've done very well with those. But a research paper is a little different. So let's go ahead and click on that. We'll open that up. Again, this is on your site as well, so you'll be able to pull it up. This is the basic format and outline of a paper. So let's say your topic is going to be on, we'll just throw out sexual harassment because that's something that we just recently did in the journal. So you've decided to do your paper on sexual harassment. You're going to start with an introduction here. That's something that brings together an attention grabber, a story. Several of you told me stories in the journal about things that had happened that were in relationship to sexual harassment, for example. You could have an attention grabber, start with that, and then give an overview of your research. So basically, in reviewing the research, the 5 articles that you have, I have decided that, this backs up my statement, blah, blah, blah. You define any kind of terminology that the viewer, the reader, doesn't completely understand. Write your paper from the perspective of the person does not understand the topic. And you'll always have a very complete, summed up paper. So when writing a paper, it's important to remember that you focus on that. You focus on the fact that, let's pretend this person knows nothing about sexual harassment, the law is in place for it. You can even have a paragraph on laws. One of your research articles could be on laws, for example, and you bring that into the paper and blend it in as well. But this is a very good outline of how to do a paper, and it goes step by step how to do it. Briefly outline the main topics. Now, right here, this is your thesis, basically. Your antithesis, and presenting the primary opposing views, argumentative paper only. But we're not. I don't want you guys doing an argumentative paper. This is where you're going to present the thesis only. The introduction must end with a thesis statement. It has to be 1 to 2 sentences in length. It tells me overall the paper, your focus of your paper, and briefly outline the main points. The easiest way to do this is to come up with 3 points from all your articles, 3 things that stand out from all your research that go, okay, for sexual harassment happens in the workplace. More than often, it happens to women, and statistically, the laws don't protect people like they should. So those are your 3 aspects that you want to talk about in your thesis. I feel that sexual harassment, you have to put yourself in the paper. So I feel that sexual harassment in the workplace, blah, 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 blah. And you have each of those 3 sentences. And each of those sentences will then break off into each of your paragraphs. So whatever is in your thesis is basically going to break down into each individual paragraph. So the first one, sexual harassment in the workplace, that'll be your body 1. The sexual harassment against women, that's your second paragraph. Your third one is your statistics, boom. And then you just throw in your information from your research information. Okay, the body, you're going to clearly present the main points of the paper. We just discussed that in the thesis. You're going to break that down into 3 different sections. We're not doing an argumentative paper, so don't worry about that. And then you always want to produce the evidence. That's where your quotations, your in-text quotations come in handy, because that's when you're going to bring in your quotes from people that you pull from the article that relate to the proof that you're trying to show me in the paper that you're sharing with me about sexual harassment, for example. And your conclusion, you basically summarize all the things that you've learned and that you've shared in the paper, and you just reword the thesis statement at the very end. So basically that's how you create a very good, solid paper. There's also additional tips on here, but I'm not really worried as much about those because what I just shared with you is the main focus. Now, This form is really good because it breaks down everything for you before you do the paper. So go on here, write your introduction, your story, whatever story you're going to open up with me, make it personal, um, or something that's relatable, because then it's an attention grabber and I'll want to read your paper more. Then, of course, your thesis statement, which we already discussed, and then your body of your paper is broken up, into 3 main points. So, like I said in the thesis, we decided to do sexual harassment, so we did sexual harassment in the workplace. So your first main point is sexual harassment in the workplace, your examples, and the quotations and stuff that you got from the articles. Second main point, what was that? It was going to be women are harassed more than men. So that'll be your second proof. And you pull in the research, you give your examples. Same thing with the third one, the statistics. You bring that in, the laws aren't backing it up, blah, 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 and you have that. So basically, if you follow this format through your entire career, your educational career, you will create really good papers. And this is a great map for you to always print and keep. So I want you guys to have this so it'll guide you through the paper writing process. It's a great guide. It'll serve you well. So, and then of course your conclusion, you reword your thesis in a different way, and you conclude, and that's it. And then your paper's done. Your 5 research articles basically fall in line with these examples and explanations, so you'll already have your quotes ahead of time. If you're smart, you'll take this page, you'll write your main point down, you'll go into your research articles, you'll write down the quotation here that you want to use, the quotation here from this article that you want to use, and the quotation from the other article that you want to use. That way your paper is literally outlined right in front of you with this document, and it makes it go so much easier. And again, use this document for your other papers and your other classes, and your professors will be impressed because you're following a format that's been laid down for many, many years. So this is the basic outline of the paper that I'd like you to do. Okay? So that's the outline. So let's talk about this area next. This is the thesis statement, not the thesis statement, but the examples and explanations. Where do those come from? They come from your articles. So let's go to that. That's also posted on your content section, and it's been there. Again, bringing it all together, that's what it's about. The text citation in-class extra credit. That's not it. Okay, whoa. Okay, let's go back up. This is what I want you to go to. The ADA requirements for the final paper. Okay, now I did the slideshow for you guys in class, and for those of you who missed it. These are the requirements that I want you to have for your paper. Now we did examples in class. Okay, you're going to have the running head on your paper. I have a review of all your articles, articles that you agree with, articles that you don't agree with, include quotes that matter to you. That's basically what that form is that we just went over. Now running head means, and I gave you samples in class, so if you weren't in class, you're going to have to get it from your peers of what a paper looks like, the running head at the top, because that's a requirement and you'll lose points if you don't have it. The in-text documents, general rules, when you use a single phrase for a quote, you give the page number at the end of the quotation. So let's say we're doing sexual harassment in the workplace. So the article that you're reading is Bob Jones University states, the professor Dr. Hildebrand there stated that sexual harassment in the workplace is ongoing, and 10% of women have to deal with this in the workplace within the first 10 months of their employment. That's a good quote. You grab that quote, and at the bottom you can see according to, and you quote the doctor or the author, you put their name, the date in brackets, comma, and then you put the page number at the end. That's an in-text citation. So you're going to have at least 3 of those under each main topic. So, for example, again, we'll go back to the example of sexual harassment. The first one is going to be sexual harassment in the workplace. So I'm going to have at least 3 quotes from articles in that. Then underneath the sexual harassment for women, I'm going to have 3 quotes from the article. So in total, you're going to have 9 quotes, in-text quotes, that I'm going to require you to have. Okay? So keep that in mind. If you've already done your paper, worked on it, you need to reassess it and make sure that you have those elements in there. that we already did the practice session. The other thing to remember that I want you to remember, if you decide to summarize larger pieces of literature, the only thing you have to remember is that if you're not just doing a quote and you want to take a whole paragraph and you want to reword it the way that you want to from the article, you write it in your own words, and at the very bottom of it you put a bracket, you put the last name of the author, you put a comma, and the year of the article, and then a comma again. So when you're using larger quotations, larger summaries, let's say there's a whole paragraph that you like everything in that paragraph and you want it in your paper. So it's larger than an in-text quote, just one little quote. So you summarize it, and at the bottom, you put it in brackets, and in the brackets you put the author's name, comma, and then you put the date. So those are the key elements I'm looking for besides the references, which we've gone over several times. So I don't really feel the need to go over that other than to point out that they have to be alphabetized. You need at least 5, and you need to indent 5 to 7 spaces after the first line in order to receive full credits. So those are all the requirements that I'm looking for in this paper, and those are the requirements that they'll be looking for all of your classes from here. If you go all the way through to your master's program, that's what they're looking for. Now, of course, they're going to add more ADA requirements as you go along, but these are the basics that'll guide you along the way. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. But this assignment is due, and it's due on the 8th at 10 o'clock p.m. at the latest. So good luck, and I think you guys are going to do great. I'm really looking forward to reading your papers. Okay, thanks.